Hey everyone, how are you all doing today? Right now I'm doing some dungeoneering with my friends. I am so close to 200 mil XP that I can taste it. I am at 196 mil XP at the moment. I am 4 mil XP off, so that is really important to me. I know that 200 mil dungeon is not a prestigious kind of 200 mil to get, but it is my first 200 mil skill, so I'm very excited about that. I will permanently be ranked under 1k for dungeoneering, so that's cool too, but I'm really excited about that. I'll probably get it today or tomorrow, whenever I get free time. But I can't wait to get that. I'm going to put probably a 30-second or 1-minute kind of snippet video out on YouTube when I get it, just so I can look back on it and have something to remember it by, to remember the date. So that's what I'm going to probably be doing soon. But anyways, let's move into the story, what you guys really care about, what you guys came here for. Let's do this. Now, today's story is about my life or my childhood through video games. Now, I had to narrow it down to my top 5 video games, and that's just impossible. 5 video games to describe my life. Now, I was talking to my friend David on the phone the other day, and we were talking about this topic. If we had to pick 5 video games to represent our lives and to show everyone how we grew up, what 5 would you list? And it's so hard. We were literally thinking for about an hour on the phone, and yes, it's extremely weird. People do still talk on the phone. We don't always just text, but we were talking on the phone, and we brought up this topic, and I thought it was really interesting. So I decided to think about it really in depth and look up dates and remember all of this stuff. So let's get into it. The first thing I wrote down was 3 different games because I couldn't just mark down one for this first thing that got me into gaming, because I didn't just play one game when I started, and I can't really remember specifically what game I played the most out of these 3, but I did play these games non-stop, and I had so much fun with these games, and these would definitely define the first act of my life through gaming. So the 3 games are Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Contra, and Backyard Baseball. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Contra were played on the NES, and Backyard Baseball was played on an old Windows PC, so I have 3 different kind of routes at these. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Contra with my best friend David. I mentioned him before when I talked to him on the phone, and we played these games for hours and hours and hours and had a blast. Now, we both were awesome at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We beat that game in like 2 hours in one sitting, and we also beat Contra, but he was better at Contra than me. I would just straggle behind with a gun and shoot up in the air, and he would run through the whole level. But we played those games consistently, and they were so much fun, and that was definitely the rock of my gaming kind of pinnacle, because I really enjoyed playing those games. I had fun playing with other people, and that was the first time I really put my foot in the water for video games. That was the first time I was exposed to a video game, and it was really interesting. This was around 1997, 1998, and then Backyard Baseball came, which also came in 1997, and after we would play NES all the time, we would go onto the computer and we would play Backyard Baseball. Now, if you've played Backyard Baseball, you know Pete Wheeler and Pablo Sanchez are the absolute shit. And if you don't know those names, look them up. Pete Wheeler was this tall, lanky, orange-haired dude who was really, really fast. And Pablo Sanchez was this really, really small Mexican kid with a backwards hat. And when he hit a home run, he would play some Spanish song. And he was the best. He was the best power hitter. He was just a beast. So those 2 guys will stick with me forever. I will always remember Pete Wheeler and Pablo Sanchez, but Backyard Baseball was such an influential game to me because I loved playing baseball as a kid. I played baseball all the time. I actually had to decide between baseball and bowling when I went into high school, decide what I wanted to play. So baseball has always been a big part of my life. I love watching baseball, and Backyard Baseball was just a game that I just had so much fun with as a kid. So I listed those 3 games: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Contra, and Backyard Baseball. If you don't know any of those games, make sure you look them up. Secondly, I listed Pokemon. Now, if I didn't list this game and say that this was the first true game I was addicted to, then I would be lying through my face, because Pokemon was the most addicting thing that ever came out of Japan, and Pokemon spread like wildfire through all of America. And the first games obviously were Red and Blue, and then Yellow came, I think, a year after, and I played those games like crazy. I was super addicted to Pokemon. I had every Game Boy at the time: Color, the regular, SP, Advanced. I don't know if I'm missing one, but I had every single one. I had the little light so that you could play in your room at night. It was crazy. I had every accessory. I had the little printer so I could print little pictures of my Pokemon people, dude. I was obsessed. I was literally obsessed with this. But Pokemon was probably one of the biggest games that I've ever played in my life, probably until RuneScape came. But Pokemon was definitely the one that was like, wow, this kid is obsessed with video games. This kid is playing this non-stop. I played Pokemon every chance I could. But I think everyone around my age or my age group kind of did as well. But Pokemon was definitely something I have to mention because that was definitely the game that pretty much started all of the madness of gaming. So next would be Super Smash Brothers. Now, I had a really tough time deciding what to put on this, and I have some honorable mentions for it. But Super Smash Bros. Came out around 1999, and I played it from 1999 to 2001 or so. And this was a weird time because this is when N64 came out, and the first Super Smash Bros. Came out, and all the other good games like Super Mario, which is also an honorable mention, they came out at the time, but Super Smash Bros. Was just a game that I played nonstop. You had Pikachu in the original lineup, so obviously I had that Pokemon connection. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to be Pikachu. You got Kirby in there. You've got all the classics. You got Mario. You've got all of the people in there that just represent all the video games you played throughout the years. So Super Smash Bros. Was such a big game for me. You could play with other people. You could beat other people up. It was just a great concept of a game to put all these characters and being able to fight each other and unlock different characters. Just something about it made it so amazing. And I was playing this game non-stop. I finally put down the Pokemon for a little bit and I played Super Smash Bros. And I never got off of that. I would play that for hours on hours on hours. And I played that for a good few years. And some honorable mentions in this category that I was going to list as well are definitely Super Mario, NHL Hits for the GameCube, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. I could go on, honestly. There are so many more games I can mention on this third one, but those are the honorable mentions I'll put in there. But Super Smash Bros. Was definitely the third one in my lineup. The fourth one is, yes, RuneScape. That was the one that really hit me hard. I played that game as an escape to get away from my real life. Obviously, I got picked on when I was younger, and I wanted to kind of escape the real world, somewhere where I couldn't be judged for my skin color of being pale. I don't know why I was judged for that, but that's a different story, and I told you that one already, so let's move on from that. But just from being picked on in school, I wanted to come home and just kind of escape, and RuneScape was definitely that escape for me. It was something that I can engage myself in, get involved with, and just be my own person. I guess that's what an MMO is about, and I was able to just be myself on a video game and not be judged because of what my skin color was. So RuneScape was definitely an escape for me, but then it just became more than escape for me. It became fun. It became something I loved. It became my everything pretty much. I was consumed by RuneScape. I even stopped doing other things in real life to play RuneScape, and it was bad at a point. I'll definitely admit that I was too obsessed, but RuneScape has done so much for me that I can't even tell you about it because it's just so long of a story. But RuneScape's always been there for me. I've always been able to play it. I've always been able to express myself through it. And that's what got me into video making. I wouldn't be majoring in film and television if it wasn't for RuneScape, if I didn't have the initiative to start a YouTube channel and want to make music videos about RuneScape or make comedy skits, make raps, make commentaries. I wouldn't know of all this fun stuff that I love to do and I truly have an interest in if it wasn't for this game. So it's done so much for me that I can't even pay it back because it's just done so much for my life. So RuneScape is definitely the fourth one in my thing because I found that first before the next mention. And RuneScape is still my number one game. It will always be the number one game I've ever played. I'd probably put Pokemon second because that was my big childhood game. But RuneScape was definitely my number one game. It still is. I still love it. I still have fun with it. Obviously, you guys can all tell because I still make videos about it. But yes, from 2005 to 2006 when I started, that's really when RuneScape hit me, and I still play to this day. So 7 years, 8 years strong, still going at it. And the fifth mention on this is Call of Duty. Now, I played Call of Duty for a while. I don't know if you guys watched my videos back then. Obviously, if you watched me from a long time ago, you know I went RuneScape, then Call of Duty for a little bit when I quit RuneScape for just about a year, and then I went back to RuneScape, obviously. But I played Call of Duty for a while. I first started with Call of Duty 4 back in 2008, 2009, and I just got addicted to that. I started doing game battles, I started going to tournaments, and Call of Duty was just something that stuck with me for a while. So I played Call of Duty like crazy, I played RuneScape like crazy, but Call of Duty came after RuneScape initially, so Call of Duty will make the fifth, but then it's back to RuneScape, and that pretty much defines my life. So just to recap, my life or childhood through video games is 1 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Contra, and Backyard Baseball, 2 was Pokemon, 3 was Super Smash Bros., honorable mentions being Super Mario, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, NHL Hits, and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, 4 being RuneScape, and 5 was Call of Duty. So that pretty much sums it all up. So make sure you comment below and tell me what your top 5 video games were to describe your life. Put them in order, 1 through 5. Let me know because I'm very interested to see how all of you grew up, what video games you guys played when you were younger. I'm very interested, so please let me know. It takes a lot of thought, it really does, but I hope you guys enjoyed this topic. I really thought it was cool to tell you guys my history with video gaming, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Later, everyone.